Hey guys, welcome back to another Pen Talk. I am Kevin Taylor, personal trainer in the Hoover area and member of Peak Referrals BNI chapter. Here's my co-host, Cherry.
Hi, I'm Cherry Howell with Providence Chiropractic in Huntsville, and I'm in the Gateway BNI chapter.
And today we have Allie and Josh. Allie, will you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Certainly. I'm Allie Turner, and I'm the publisher of Athens Now, the newspaper, which has a hard copy distribution of around 4,000 in the Athens area. And we are read, the online version is read in 80 countries, and we got 1.3 million hits last year. So old school, new school. And I'm also the host of the Tennessee Valley Radio Spotlight, Tennessee Valley Spotlight Radio Show. That's what I'm trying to say. You can tell I have a lot of radio experience there. So, and I am a very happy member of Limestone Leaders.
Awesome. Josh?
Yes, my name is Josh Aycock, and I work with Singing River Media Group. We are based in Tuscumbia, Alabama, and we have 4 radio stations. As you can see behind me, we have the Big Dog, 105.5. We have WLAY 100.1. We have the Bull 94.9, and then we have My 101.5, and we service, the northwest corner of Alabama. So we do that. Also, I'm a proud member of the ABA group here in Florence, and we meet on Thursdays.
Great. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Allie, the first one's for you. Tell our customers, tell our viewers what you do and what services you provide.
Okay. I am the publisher of Athens Now, which is one of the largest shoppers papers in the Valley. And what we bring to the table that is different is that we blend the combination of what you do with your backstory, with the answer to the question of, I have choices, why should I come to you? Blend it all together in an advertorial so people get a chance to actually know potential business people and can connect them that way. We'd like to describe ourselves as being a shopper's paper with substance. We have a little of this, a little of that. The head of the Athens State University counseling session writes for us. We have financial people, just a little bit to meet everybody's needs, have a cooking column, and really enjoy what we do. The pass along for the hard copy distribution of the paper is between 12 and 16,000, and hard copy distribution is 4,000 in 120 locations.
Great.
And then with the radio show, that's more of a just kind of a what's going on in the Tennessee Valley sort of thing. We do showcase businesses, but it's a blend of give backs and what's going on and businesses and just life in general with a positive spin.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Josh, share with us what you do, Mr. 105.5.
Yes, people ask me if I'm on the radio. No, I'm not on the radio, but the biggest thing we do is we sell, radio advertising spots, and most of those spots are, 30 seconds to 60 seconds, which I think is so neat with BNI because most of our presentations that we do on a weekly basis is, the 60 seconds, so it's kind of, I relate it very easily, the BNI, you're trying to tell people what you want, and that's what I try to tell people when they're trying to get a commercial and stuff like that. But it's anyway for new businesses, maybe a business that has a promotion, now that we're going into the holiday season, you've got different people having different sales and just to get the word out there, and stuff like that. And different seasons have different clients that need different commercials and stuff like that. So really just, trying to get any businesses, events, and there's other special things that we do as well that I'll talk about in a little bit, but really just to let, our customers out there be able to buy ad time that they can promote their business any way they can.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Allie, tell us how you got into the newspaper publishing business.
I was tossed in the pool and like so many things and had to learn how to swim. My husband actually, I will blame him for the entire deal. My husband was the one who got me into it in terms of when we bought the paper. But I had been in Iraq from 04 to 07 and had come home and published a book that was an Amazon bestseller. The book was published in 2008 and took about a year to market it. And when it came to the end of the marketing curve, it was time to look at doing something in addition. And so a local historian here in Athens by the name of Jerry Barksdale, he was kind of our Garrison Keillor, Lake Wobegon guy. He was the one who told the founders of Athens Now about me. So in 2010, they hired me to write for them. And then in 2011, we bought the paper. And it was straight up the most brutal learning curve I have ever experienced. But I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I love what I do.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad you didn't drown in the pool, okay?
Yeah. And I'm glad I didn't die in Iraq, too. So.
Well, that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Or that.
Or that.
Okay, Josh, what misconceptions are there about how long it takes to produce a commercial and get the word out?
Mm.
It's really amazing. Technically, you really could, cut a commercial in the next few minutes, send it to me, and we could have it on the air in the morning. There's a lot of, now there's some things that have to happen, but, I've had a lot of different, people say, oh, it's going to take me too long. And it's a very short process. I tell people a 30-second commercial is 90 words, which is quite a few words to get into a commercial. Of course, we don't want to rush anybody, but I've had several different people that when they have other, trying to do different advertising and stuff like that, some of those do take a little bit longer. But with us being, here local, with us being able to run logs and stuff like that just the day before, it's a very quick turnaround, and it's not a very hard process. Us putting together commercials, either us producing them or you coming here and producing them, it is a very easy process. And that's one thing I would think that most radio stations would say, the turnaround on that is a day or two for about everybody. And the process is not that hard for us, especially some of our people that are in traffic and then some of the ones in engineering. Just to be able to put those commercials together takes no time really whatsoever.
Thank you.
So Josh, how long does it take for you to put a little jingle together? Kevin Taylor, personal trainer.
Well, let me just go ahead and record you there, and we'll get you on.
Oh my God.
So just, spur of the moment. Okay, I understand. All right, so Allie, how did you become a talk show host, and what is your favorite thing about it?
Oh, it's really sort of an amusing story. The Tennessee Valley Spotlight radio show was started by our late mayor and Alabama State House Representative Dan Williams. And he passed from cancer. And during the time that he was battling cancer, two friends of his stepped up to fill in for him. It's once a week. 1 hour. I'm telling you, I have so much respect for people who do it like every day. That would just make me shrink, but it's just enough. And I was asked to come in by the management of the radio station to kind of add a little bit of comic relief, because these guys were serious guys, And so it was kind of my job to be a touch irreverent and just kind of tease them a little and help them to lighten up. And then there just came a day when they decided that they didn't want to do it anymore. And they literally handed it off to me. So yes, once again, I was put in a position to jump in the pool and learn how to swim. And I just love getting a chance to encourage people, give them hope, encourage them to look at big pictures, try and look at difficult things in terms of potential and possibility for good stuff that could come out of it. And along with talking about events and things that are going on in the Tennessee Valley.
Good. I'm really familiar with being the humor side gig. So
yeah, I was the paid the non-paid little sister. It basically was, yeah. So that was just. I'm really thankful, and I like it very much. But again, if there were, if you had to do show prep every day and just nail things down to the absolute minute, for me, I think it would take the fun out of it. This is mostly a whole lot like having coffee with headphones. So it's extremely comfortable. And also the people in almost everybody in our chapter has gotten their radio debut on my show. and have been gone in scared. In about 5 minutes, they were fine. And so I get a lot of pleasure out of helping people relax and just find their voice and do their best.
Well, that's awesome.
All right, Josh, tell me about the renewed enthusiasm with radio, such as the football games and attendance.
Yeah, one thing I was going to, say to Allie, we've had several people that, will come in and cut their own commercial, and they're scared to death the first time they do it. They're worried how it's going to sound. And, after they get in there and they get relaxed and they cut, some of them been able to nail it the first time, but after 2 or 3 takes, and I think some of those commercials on the radio are just some of the most genuine and true commercials because they're getting to relate what they want to. But to answer your question, one thing that our stations we had lined up is we have 4 high school football teams in the area that we cover all of their games: Deschler, Sheffield, Mars Hill, and Muscle Shoals. 4 very good teams and good, proud, teams that have a lot of fans. But this year, with everything going on, there was some limited number of people that could get into some games, so they was able to be, to listen to the games, and we can stream it online. And then we also, listen on the radio and stuff like that. So there was a lot of people that, just because of numbers wise, or maybe, different things going on, they could not make the game. And this year with those 4 teams, they were able to, listen to their, kids or grandkids. And then we even have some people that are in other states or even out of the country that are out of town, and they get to listen to their, son, get to play football and stuff like that.
That's really cool.
All right. So Allie, let's go back to Baghdad. Okay. Just for a little bit. All right.
Okay.
Bear with me. You wrote a book about it. Tell us more about that. Okay.
I did. I wrote a book that is called A Ballad for Baghdad. And the subtitle is An Ex-Hippie Chick Vietnam War Protesters 3 Years in Iraq. And I'm 67 years old, and 50 years ago, I would have been a lot of like what you're seeing right now that we're not supposed to talk about on this particular piece. And so I am the daughter of a World War II Naval Air Corps pilot, and my dad, to his credit, through clenched teeth when I tried to shut down Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in protest to the war in Vietnam, said, I may not agree with you, but I will fight like for your right to believe what you want to believe. And I never got a chance to thank my father. So when the opportunity came up, I went to Iraq and I worked in morale, welfare, and recreation, which is kind of like a combination of Parks and Rec and USO. Again, kind of the paid little sister, sort of, and made coffee and played a lot of ping pong, developed a mean serve. And I just happened to be in Iraq at a very interesting time. I was there for the return of Iraq to the Iraqis, all 3 elections, and Saddam's trial and execution. And I was within 10 feet of Saddam on more than one occasion, not like face to face, but just having him go by, that sort of thing. So what got me going as far as writing the book was concerned was seeing how different the events that were occurring were being portrayed in the media. And so I gave my word to the Iraqis and to the soldiers that I would tell their stories. And that's what I did. Came home, got published by Morgan James out of New York. It was an Amazon bestseller. And that was what kind of launched me into my publishing career, which I had never planned on entering.
Wow, that's really cool. I appreciate you going there, and I appreciate you writing that book for them.
Thank you. Well, it was my pleasure. I went to say thank you, and I also went to say I'm sorry. And it was absolutely a transformational experience. And I was actually talking to a young man. Well, he's young enough to be my son. He was career military, and he was over there as well. He's in our, he has the UPS store here in Athens and is in Limestone Leaders. And we were talking today about the fact that we'd go back in a heartbeat. If we felt like it was what we were supposed to do, we would go back in a heartbeat. And there's nothing like seeing people who, for example, who are willing to die in order to be able to vote, to give you some perspective. So it was a remarkable experience, and I'm forever thankful that I got to go and that I got to experience it and that I got to write about it.
Awesome.
That's incredible, Allie. And you were also over there when Stephen Conway in another business chapter was there, which I thought was really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys are going to have to compare how close you got to Saddam.
Oh, well, I can tell you that story real quickly. Stephen and I were actually only a few hundred feet apart on the day that Saddam was arraigned. But we did not meet until he came and spoke at our chapter. And, you know, there are kind of wannabes and people who do stolen valor. And I looked at him, you know, when I told him that I had worked at MWR, and it wasn't like he disbelieved me. But I said, okay, so you were at Griffin Pad waiting to take off and protect me, right? And his eyes went like, yeah, blades hot, rotors running, because there were people who wanted to kill Saddam. And so Stephen was in the position of having to protect us from insurgency as well as the people who wanted to kill Saddam. So he was ready to rock and roll if it came to that. But we never met each other until here. So he has become a very, very dear friend, and I'm thankful forever to have a fellow traveler who really understands what it was like to be there.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big part of BNI as well.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Josh, anything during this year that radio stations have been able to do that has been beneficial?
Yeah, one thing that we was able to do, especially with one of our local, morning shows and then we were able to do that on our other stations as well, but we were able to bring on different hospital staff members, medical, personnel, doctors, different city leaders, from mayors to, police chiefs to fire chiefs to the health department, and then just give them a chance to discuss the things that were going on, So at the time we were doing that, a lot of the businesses were closed, so some of them were not advertising or did they have really anything to talk about because they really didn't know. So we were able to do that for several weeks, and was able to get the information out there that what was going on in the different communities and the things that each one of the leaders knew. So that was one thing we was able to do.
That's very important.
Awesome. All right, so that's all the time we have for today. Allie and Josh, thank you so much for being here. We enjoyed your stories. We enjoyed having you. If you're watching this today, you're probably watching on Facebook or YouTube. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And if you need to get in touch with either one of these individuals, please comment on it, and then we can get you in touch with them. So, guys, thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.